All right, live stream is live, so you can refresh the page to see what I have up here. First thing you're going to do, first step is going to make the waypoint blueprint. Everybody click Add New, Blueprint Class. And what do we choose 99% of the time? Actor, exactly. And I want you to name this Waypoint. Don't open up the waypoint blueprint. We're not going to code anything on it. It's going to remain an empty blueprint. That's okay. Once you've made your waypoint blueprint and named it waypoint, drag a few waypoints into your world. I'm going to drag maybe 6 or so. Okay. Now double click your MPC, either in the content browser or Edit Blueprint, Open Blueprint Editor. We're going to open up our MPC blueprint. MPC is where we coded all of this last code from the last few weeks, the dialogue. We're going to make our own custom event that handles his wandering. So once you're on your MPC blueprint on the event graph, you're going to right click and look up custom event. Custom event. Add custom event and name the custom event AI Wander. All the code that causes this guy to wander throughout the world will live in this blueprint and it'll live in this custom event. All right, next thing I want you to do, drag off this custom event and look up get all actors of class. Get all actors of class. This is a really useful node. What it does is it looks throughout the world for all the particular instances of a certain type of blueprint. So you can use get all actors of class to get all the NPCs, or get all the third-person characters, or get all the static meshes, or in this case, get all of the waypoints. And it spits out the list that it gets in the form of an array. So for actor class, look up waypoint, select class, waypoint. So this node will get all of the waypoints. Yeah. If you lose a window, go to Window, top of the Mac, top left of the Mac, Window, and then when you click on Window in the top left of the whole Mac, you'll be able to see all the windows that you lost. And you just click on the one you need back. All right, so we just made our custom event. We named it AI Wander. We're doing get all actors of class. This is going to get us a list of all the waypoints. Next thing I want you to do, drag off the next sideways triangle off of get all actors of class and look up AI move to. Choose AI move to. And AI move to has a bunch of neat stuff on it, different settings. The first one's going to be pawn. Anybody know what pawn does? What does it mean by pawn? Huh? Pawn is a type of blueprint, yeah, character blueprint. And so what it means by pawn, by the character blueprint, it's saying, hey, what character is moving? Who's actually moving? In this case, who do we want moving? The NPC. Well, where are we coding this? The NPC. So it's the NPC itself that's moving. Drag off pawn and type in self. Get a reference to self. And for destination, we could put in specific coordinates for this thing, or we can choose target actor. Well, we want it to be one of the waypoints, right? That's going to be the target for our AI to move to. So we're going to be dealing with target actor. Now, go back to your get all actors of class node. On this thing called out actors, this is the array, that's why it looks like a waffle. Drag off of it, and we want to get an item from the array, so type in get. And choose get a copy. And now that you're doing get, right, you have this number here that is which item in the array are you actually getting? A random one. Exactly. We don't want to just get item number 0 every time. We want it to be random. So drag off of this circle and type in random. We're going to choose random integer in range. Why in range? Because we want to control where the random number comes from. We want it to be between a minimum number and a maximum number, okay? So minimum is 0, right? 0 is good. And then maximum we're going to get to in just a second. But before that, we have an announcement from Miss Crowley.
Hi guys, how are you? Oh, it's like the same. I love them. The auto animation was great this morning.
Oh, good.
It was quick and easy.
Yay.
I think they're all in here. So, okay, guys. Tomorrow, for those of you who I have not talked to, you're going to take your digital game design CTE test. It is a 100-question test. You have 60 minutes to take it. Some of you are allotted some extra time, and you get the results right away. It's pretty cool. Some of you already took the test this morning. We're going to be testing it around 8:10, so it's kind of quiet, minus the announcements. I'm going to try and figure out how to like break the speaker on the announcements for the next few days. Anyway, the results go to the CTE office, the state CTE office. They will give them to us. We share those with your teacher. You're being tested on the digital game standard. So, and those that took tests today, right when you were done, you hit submit, you get this bar graph, and it shows you which standards you did really well on and which ones you didn't. So we take that information, we share with your teacher, so students next year, following year can all benefit from this, okay? Any questions for me? Yes.
What if you're absent?
I'm gonna come find you the next day you're here. We have until March 20th, but I'm not waiting that long. So today, I had 20 people scheduled, and we have 19 testers. There's just one kid that I'm gonna go find her. But if we can keep going on that, if you're absent, I get it, no problem. I'll come find you next week. Okay? Yes. So you guys are lucky, and you're gonna take it during this period. Yes. Is that your question?
No.
What's your question?
So it don't count for a grade?
It does not count for a grade for this class. No. If you do well enough and you get higher than the cut score, which off the top of my head I don't know what that is. I did share that with Mr. Torres, he can give that to you. You are eligible for CSN credits. The lady from CSN, I met with her about a week ago. She's willing to come back and meet with you guys one-on-one if you have questions for that. But if that's something that interests you, that is kind of the push to get a good grade on this. Okay? Any other questions? You will be excused from 3rd and 4th. Some of you will be 3rd, 4th, and 5th, depending if you get a little extra time. This morning, everyone that started right away, and we had some technical difficulties, which we won't have tomorrow, you'll be done within a class period, if maybe half it to the other, okay? But either way, you are already excused. The secretary's working on that right now. No questions? Okay, I'm gonna call you guys up. If you'll come get your pass, don't come here though. This is me telling you, don't come to 3rd period tomorrow. Go right to room 810, okay? And if Mr. Torres will be here, and if he sees you, he's gonna tell you, go to 810. Just right after 2nd, go to room 810.
I think I have one student not taking the test in this period.
Who?
James.
Well, we'll see, because everyone that had a card, if your name is on the roster, then James, what's your last name?
So Manabat is the.
Oh, he's not on the roster though.
Yeah.
Oh, then
Yeah,
yeah.
he's on his own class,
Correct. Yeah,
basically.
yeah. Okay, so if I call you up, will you please come get this pass? It is just a reminder, and it says up at the top, please report to room 810 on Friday the 28th at, this time is wrong on here. Oh, no, this is period 5. And then I'm gonna come back to period 5.
Yep,
That's one thing to
absolutely.
hear from me.
Yeah,
So,
I'll be doing a lesson, so I'll just, 5th period's during lunch, so what time would be easiest, convenient for you?
I'll probably just come in the middle.
The middle? Okay.
Okay, I think we did these classes. These are all.
Yeah, 5th period.
Check and see if those are there. Those should be. Okay, when I call your name, please, oh, perfect, here we go. Matthew Bobbitt. Matthew, sorry, you gotta take 2 days in a row. So 9 o'clock tomorrow, I'll see you in room 810 again. Arturo.
That's 5th. Arturo's 5th.
Oh, yeah, okay, here, so here's 3rd. I'm gonna give you the 5th.
Okay.
Kendall Adams. Can you do me a favor? As I call them out, will you put a mark, because if these were wrong, I wanna know who I need to go find later. So, you have the roster.
I have.
Nope, I do. So can you cross off Kendall and Bobbitt, right?
Yeah, Matthew Bobbitt.
Room 810. Kendall, just you can cross it off.
Just cross the name
Yeah.
off.
Kasai, K-A-S-I-I.
Yep.
How do you pronounce your name? Kasai? All right. So I will see you tomorrow, 9 a.m., room 810. Ian, Joshua, Fabian. Ian, Joshua Brody. You are Fabian. Fabian, I'll see you tomorrow, 9 o'clock in room 810. Don't forget, okay? Don't come here. You are Ian? No, you are not. You're Brody? Okay. You're Ian. Again, I'll see you tomorrow. Johnny, Jimmy, and Brian Diaz. James, I just saw you. You told me to call you Jimmy, so I did. Johnny, see you tomorrow, 9 a.m., room 810. Brian, see you tomorrow. Don't forget. Oh, you're not. You're gonna be, I'm sorry. It's just a typo. You will be excused 3rd and 4th. Your apologies for what? You're good, don't worry. Jovan, Jose, and Ronald. Jovan, Jose, and Ronald.
Javon's absent.
Okay. Are you Jose? Jose, I'll see you tomorrow, 9 a.m., 8:10. Ronald, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, sir. Christopher Johnson. Christopher Johnson. Romani. Romani. Is that how you pronounce it? See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Don't come to this class. Go right to 810. Sean, Adrian, and Violetta. Sean, you are Sean. You are Adrian. Awesome. See you guys tomorrow. Room 810, 9 a.m. Don't be late. Taurus, Jonathan, and Jorge. I'm pretty pumped these kids come to school because literally there's only one person not testing, and I know she's here. I'm going to find her. And Taurus, there you go. And Jonathan, What time? Okay, so if you get here like 9, 10, come down there and we'll be there. If not, I'll just put you down for another day. Yep. Maribel? Maribel. Sorry, you're right there. There you go. Sydney! Yuma! Jamari! Luis! Please don't wear that sweatshirt. No, I still won't be
I
loud.
don't like this.
Joshua Thompson! I believe there's 2 of you, right? So both of you. So Joshua Thompson, 1084111. There you go. Ashley, Trejo, and Trevon is with me right now doing animation, right?
Trevon wasn't here today.
So he is now in animation.
Okay, he's taking it today. Okay.
Found him.
Okay, good. He hasn't been in my class in like a week or 2.
Abel, come down. So Jovan is not here.
Juan's not here.
Who else did I drop?
You called Trayvon. I'll check with Trayvon off.
And then Abel.
Do you have Isabella on your list? Isabella.
Oh, Isabella, come here. Are you done already? Oh, okay.
Right.
So Trey, I'm sorry, you're not gonna like this. Tomorrow, you're gonna test again for this class. But it's not at 7 o'clock in the morning. Does that make you feel better? No. Wait, no, come here, I have paper for you. Can you, because you didn't hear me give my speech. 9 a.m. 10. Okay, so don't go to this class tomorrow. If you come right to that room, you're good. All right? Thank you so much. Okay, first, I just pulled your transcript. I don't know why they don't have a test ticket for you, because you have taken 1, 2, and 3, and you have the credit for first semester. So I just have to call the lady in charge and see if she can make your test ticket by tomorrow. If not, if we have until March 20th, I'm not worried about it. But I have note on you that you just need a ticket, because I can't have you sit with that tomorrow. Abel, where's Abel? Hi, how are you? Here you go. See you tomorrow. Don't be late. Don't forget. Okay, so Jovan is the only person on this list, right?
Yeah.
I've already talked to her, and, oh, what about Maribel and Sydney? I called her Sydney.
Yeah.
Maribel and Sydney, you guys have your passes, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take this. All right, guys, one more thing before I leave. Sorry, I know you don't want to hear my voice. You want to build video games. There's 2 parts of this whole CTE testing. You are taking your program of study first. So those of you that took animation today and digital, you're going to take tomorrow. And then there is a workplace readiness test. We're going to do that towards the end of this whole testing window. Probably not next week. I think it's this week. But I will come into this class. I will give you your passes. I'll do the same old deal, okay? So after this, you still have one more. But it's not program specific. It is general workplace readiness. Okay? If you have any questions, I'm in the main office. I'm new to CTE, but I will try and help you. If not, I'll call someone that can give us an answer. This is that. 5th period. So am I missing 5th period classes?
No, you gave me a stack of them.
Okay, so here, these are all. Okay. Can you leave that here? Sure. I will come back in between and I'll hand them out, and then just keep that roster so we can see where we're going.
Okay, all right.
Perfect, thank you. I'll see you later.
See you later. Yeah. Hey, man. We're in the middle of a lesson, but it's
Oh, I'm sorry.
it's all live streamed, and I did it yesterday too. I don't think we did any other lessons this whole week though, so you haven't missed anything. But you weren't here last week either, or?
I was here. Yeah, I wasn't here Friday.
Oh, but you were here last week. Okay. Oh, okay, so you're not too far. So I think right now the lesson's called RPG Part 7, and we're doing for the ability for the AIs to wander around. Right? Remember, get all actors of class, your favorite node. It's a great node.
Once I found out how to use it.
Yeah, man. So we're getting waypoints and we're making them wander. So if you want to log in and follow, I did a short tutorial in my 7th period yesterday. You can just follow that if you want. And you don't have to have any of the other stuff finished for this. This literally has nothing to do with the dialogue system. It's just to get them to move around the world. So, yeah. All right, man. Go for it. You got it. All right, guys, let's continue. We're going to continue from the lesson. So, the next step, what we just did is we made a custom event. We named the custom event AI Wander. We made a get all actors of class node where it'll spit out a list of all the things in the level of a particular type. In this case, we asked for the waypoint type. And then we use the get node. And the last thing we just did is we pulled a random integer in range, okay? We're going to continue off of that. Minimum random integer in range. What are we going to leave that number at? 0, right? 0 is the first item in the list. But what's the maximum number going to be? Think about this. What is the maximum number going to be? I'm hearing 4, I'm hearing 10, I'm hearing 25. I guess it's however many waypoints you have in your world, right? Is that right? All right, guys, we shouldn't be talking. We're in the middle of a lesson. Okay, so it should be the number of waypoints that we have. How many do you have? Maybe I have 6. Maybe you have 10, right? We don't want to have, let's say we have 10 waypoints. We don't want the random number to come up and have the random number be like 44 because there is no waypoint number 44. So you throw an error, the NPC is not going to be able to go to anything, right? So how do we do this? Now, we could count how many waypoints we dragged into our world and say, okay, I dragged 11 waypoints in our world. I put 11 here as the max. We could do that. But later on, when you're world designing, you make your world better, change your level design, you might want to add more waypoints. Copy and paste the waypoint, another possible location for them to go to. Then you got to go back in this code and you got to count and remember how many you're putting in and then change that maximum. It's kind of complicated. It's not designer friendly. But there's a node that will help us where it doesn't matter how many waypoints we drag into our world, the code will always work. What if we got the length of the list, the length of the array, and we put that in as our max? So you're going to do that by dragging off of this out actors on get all actors of class and looking up last index. Last index. Last index will get you the last number in the array. Plug in last index into max. Just like that. Last index goes into max. All right, this output of get, this is going to spit out the waypoint that it got. Where is this going to go? Target actor. So drag the get into target actor. All right, for acceptance radius, this is how wide the radius is for where the NPC will stop. Right now it's at 5, which means 5 centimeters. Let's change this to 100. The reason I want to do that is just so that the NPC decides, hey, I'm at the location, this is good enough, somewhere near-ish the waypoint, within 100 centimeters of the waypoint. Yeah, Unreal's units are always in centimeters. Now for on success, we want to recall this custom event. But let's add a little bit of a feature in here. Let's say that the NPC waits at that new waypoint that he just got to for a certain number of seconds before he decides, okay, that's enough, I'll go to some other waypoint. So to make our code wait, what node do we use? Say that again. Delay is correct, yes. Drag off of on success and look up delay. choose delay. Now we could say, hey, a certain number of seconds here, 5 seconds or something like that, right? But wouldn't it be better if it was a random number of seconds that they wait? So let's make it random. Drag off of this duration and type in random. Once again, we're going to do random in range. Choose a random float in range. Minimum, let's say, I'm going to put 1 second. That's the minimum amount of time he's going to wait there. And maximum, I'll say 10 seconds. You can put whatever numbers you want.
1,000. 60,000.
That's a long time. All right. Delay. Going to delay a random number between minimum and maximum here. Once the delay is over, we want him to then go to the next waypoint. Well, we'll just recall the code that we made called AI Wander. So drag off of this and type in AI Wander. So off of your delay, you're now calling AI Wander, the custom event we just made. So this is good. It's a self-triggering event. AI Wander eventually leads to AI Wander happening again. Also, do this. On AI Move To, you have this on fail node. This will run instead of on success if the waypoint he's supposed to go to is an impossible to reach location. So he won't even try. The navigation will tell him, hey, don't try, and on fail will happen. Well, if that happens, we still want the code to re-trigger so that he looks for another waypoint, hopefully one that works. So let's drag off of on fail and also call AI Wander. So off of on fail, we're calling AI Wander. And again, that's just so that if it can't reach that location, it does the code again and finds another random waypoint to go to. All right, so that code's all fine, but now we want it to actually be triggered at least the first time. Let's do that on begin play. So in an empty area of graph right here, I'm gonna make begin play show up. Begin play is an event that does what? Not every frame, close, that's event tick. Event begin play fires how often? Once. When? Right at the start of the game. Okay, so we're gonna say, hey, on the beginning of the game, let's do AI Wander. But here's the thing, before we do that, what if we make it so that some NPCs wander and others stay put, they stay in place? The reason this might be important is if we have like a quest-giving NPC, we don't want them wandering off and being impossible to find, right? So that's an example of some NPCs should stay put wherever they are set by the level designer. So let's make a setting, make it in the form of a Boolean variable that you can just check mark to decide whether an NPC can wander around or can't wander. So let's make a variable. Everybody in the lower left, click the plus variable button and name the variable stay in place. So new variable, name it stay in place, and make sure it's a Boolean. Boolean is that on, off, true or false, check marked or unchecked variable. Hit compile in the top left. You've named it stay in place, right? Oh, also make sure that the eyeball icon is open for this variable. So the little eyeball next to stay in place, the variable you just made, make sure you open the eyeball and hit compile. Here's what we'll do. Next to our begin play, we're going to drag our variable onto a graph, do get stay in place, drag off of stay in place, and look up branch, not ranch, branch. Everyone in Mr. Rendon's class was saying ranch. That's right, it's ranch with a B, barbecue ranch. Branch, okay? And now I want you to connect in begin play to the front of branch. And basically what this code's going to do is if stay in place is true, we don't want him to wander, correct? Because he's supposed to just stay put, stay in place. But if it's false, we are going to wander. So what event are we going to call in false? AI wander, the custom event you made. So off of false, call AI wander, our custom event. All right, last thing to do on the character movement. Our characters right now, they're going to go to each waypoint at full speed. Let's take down their speed so they just walk to the waypoint. It's much more natural. So in the Components tab on the left, click on Character Movement. Click on Character Movement in the left, Components tab. Character Movements, the component has all the settings for how the character moves. What I want you to look up is walk speed. That's how fast the guy moves. And set walk speed from 600 to maybe to 150. Let's do 150. From 600, set it down to 150. This is going to cause them to walk to their waypoints, walk to their destinations. And then hit compile and go back to your map. That's it for the coding part, but we're not quite done. No NPCs can ever move without something called a nav mesh. The nav mesh is basically a big box that determines where they can and can't walk, where the obstacles are, where the walls are, and things like that. It's kind of like their brain for walking. We need to bring in a nav mesh into our world. We're going to do that from the modes panel on the left. The modes panel on the left, type in NAV and drag nav mesh bounds volume is what it's called into your world. Nav mesh bounds volume. It's a box and you're going to scale it. You're going to stretch it and scale it so that it's as big as the whole area where the NPCs are going to walk around in. Don't make it as big as your whole world. Some people with big landscapes do that. It'll make your game lag. A huge nav mesh will do that. If you are doing an open world game, though, there are kind of ways to get around that. First off, though, I want you to press P on your keyboard. Pressing P will reveal the paths that the nav mesh has created. Anything in green will be a path. If it's not in green, then that means your nav mesh is not big enough. So let's say you're doing like a big open world game and you need more areas for your NPCs to run around. You can copy your nav mesh, bring it out somewhere else, and as long as you create a path to that nav mesh for the NPCs, then they can get there and they'll use it, like this right here. Now my NPCs can get from this location to this location, and in fact, I'm forcing them to take this unique path, which is another interesting thing you can do. I'm sorry, say that again. To set a specific NPC to only walk? Okay, so we made a setting for this. If you click on your NPCs, you should see in the details panel the variable called stay in place. Check mark all the other ones stay in place, and the one you want to walk, you leave unchecked, and he'll wander. If you've done this, again, you can hit P to turn off that path, hit play, and see if your NPCs are moving around your world. Yeah, I'm done with the lesson. Okay, coming. Yeah.